no question, no lies. I'm a boss bitch, and I got I'ma grind till my heart quits. Yeah, she hungry for the money and she's all in, 'cause she no slave and she gonna win. Big bands to the side, ain't no losses. Stack bands, no ties, except for my kid. Only thing that's on her mind is to be rich, and she no slave and she gonna win. No sleep, no sleep, no sleep. No sleep, no sleep, no sleep. Yeah, she hungry for the money and she's all in, 'cause she no sleep.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Phoenix Novell, and I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to another one of my Boss Bitch Tips episodes. Now, this episode is called How to Know That You Love Someone and You're Not in Love with Them. When I made the video called How to Know You're in Love with Someone, I forgot to point out another really important factor, which is being in love with someone can be really selfish. It could be really based on how they make you feel, and you're chasing this high because they make you feel so amazing. You know, their energy, their style, the way they look at you, whatever it is, it's how they make you feel. When you love somebody, there's more of a detached kind of thing to it. It's not so much based about how they make you feel. It's more about you wanting the best for them. It's about you caring for them, but your logic and there's a rational and emotional maturity that's there when you love somebody, and you're not so connected to their actions. You want them to be happy, but you also have space, or you create space for them to be who they are and you know that because, like I said, when you're in love with them, it's based on how they make you feel. It's all about you, really. It's like, it's a selfish thing. I need them in my life. I love them. I crave them. And they can get off on that power because they see how much they affect you. But when you love somebody, there is a safe space of distance between you and that person. It's still caring and emotional, but it's not based on how they make you feel. It's based on you wanting the best for that person, regardless of if that means that they act a certain way, or regardless of if they want it for themselves. When you love somebody, you can love them from a distance. You can care about them. It's not based on them providing anything for you or in your life. It's not based on your emotional needs. It's much more mature. It's the best word I can use for it. It's much more detached. And I had to learn the difference between these two myself because of a situation I found myself in. I thought I was in love with a guy, and I realized that when you're in love with somebody, there's usually this feeling of, I need them in my life. I will do anything to keep them in my life. I will do anything to fix them or to help them. But when you love somebody, you don't need them to conform to your life. You don't need them to fit a certain mold. You're okay accepting them how they are, and you're also in the rational and logical mind to tell them about themselves when you need to. When you're in love with somebody, you just want to do whatever you can to keep them around. You don't want to do anything or create space enough for them to run away or for them to be upset or uncomfortable. You want to just be as pleasant as you can and tiptoeing on eggshells to keep them in your orbit. But when you love somebody, you know that it's a non-obligatory kind of energy that you're putting off. And you want the best for them, and you know that if you're going to be a friend, or if you're going to care about them, you know that you're not really concerned about how they feel about what you say. If you know that they're going down the wrong path, you're much more likely to be like, hey, blah 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 blah. This is the way that. If you keep on going this way, most likely you're going to end up there. Or if you keep doing this, most likely you're going to do this. Or you're not afraid to call them out. When you're in love with somebody, usually you're more panicked for them to go. So you'll overlook things, you'll diminish things, you'll be more heightened in your emotional state. You'll want to make sure that you're secure, and you'll check the shit out of them if you need to when it comes to them giving you attention and keep on feeding you. But when you love them, you create room for them to walk away, because you know that you don't need them to love you back. You don't need them to do anything or to be a certain way in order for you to love them. It's a very, it's healthy. You know, you're not in a daze or in a stupor. You're not in a trance. When you love somebody, you're able to allow them to feel like, I'm not going anywhere, or I'm leaving from this vicinity because it's not healthy for either one of us. There is a sense of care. There's a sense of compassion that I think love has, that I feel like being in love with somebody lacks it a little bit, because there is a heightened sense of emotional attachment when you're in love with somebody. There's an emotional attachment that's borderline dangerous, because it completely can disrupt your well-being and your sense of independence. But when you love somebody, you're in a place to actually be patient with them, to say, look, you know, I don't need you to do anything. I don't need you to be a different person than you are. I don't need you to want what I want, but I want you to be happy. You know, there is this energy of, I don't need you to make me happy, and I want you to be happy, whatever that looks like for you. If that means it looks like me being in your life, if it means that you got to go away and be with somebody else, that's fine. But there is a healthy distance when it comes to loving somebody, because you don't need them to participate or show up any certain way. And that is, to me, it's the ideal spot to be for partnership. I think anything else is dangerous, but again, you can have some very powerful connections with people, and you fall in love with who you fall in love with. It's just dangerous because not everybody who falls in love parallel to the person who they're in love with. You know, sometimes one person falls and the other doesn't. One person's in love, the other person just loves them. And so there is, somebody's logical, somebody's illogical, somebody's rational, somebody's irrational. And that's the danger, because the likelihood of both of you being in either of them states consecutively is very slim. You know, so I would say this is the sweet spot, being in love, loving somebody. So much so that your hand is open enough to let them go if you need to, or walk away if you need to, but, you know, not so open that you can't actually appreciate and feel and be a part of this experience. So there is a loose holding of the experience, so that both individuals feel free enough to move around, but also feel that there's a connection that they want to be a part of, and they are genuinely deciding to partake in, without that whole grip that being in love gives. That when you're in love, there is a grip that happens. There's just like, you know, you feel like, I can't let this go. It's a very intense energy and a feeling of insanity a little bit to it, you know. And if both people are like that, it's definitely just this explosive energy, you know. And so if you can find that sweet spot of being able to process emotions and be where you are, but also recognize when you're going off on that extreme, like you have to consciously bring your mind to that place of like, all right, I love this person, but I can live without them. They can live without me. We're choosing to be here. They don't belong to me. I don't belong to them. I'm not their possession, but we are choosing to be together because we're compatible and we love and enjoy each other's energy. So there is a need when you're in love to constantly, I think the safe thing is to constantly try to balance that, to give them room to breathe and allow yourself room to breathe, so that you're not so connected that if something happens, you can't exist without them. When you're in love, there is a ebb and flow. There's a softness. There's a breathable energy that flows between individuals that is healthy, because it gives you room to feel like, I don't want to mess this up and do something crazy, because I know that they don't need me, and I know that I don't need them. So I'm not gonna just be okay with anything. But I also realize that we're not codependent on each other, which means that at any given moment they can walk away and so can I. So I don't need to be obsessive or grabby. I'm here on purpose, and I know that there's no obligation. It's free. So I think that's the difference between being in love with somebody and loving someone. There's just the intensity and the proximity and the distance between the two people, so that they can see logically, never goes away when you just love somebody. Love is just it creates a detachment that I think is healthy. That being in love just like like a fog that you have to consciously cut through in order to see reality. And a lot of people don't. It's hard, and then they have to, if things don't work out, they have to months later try to finally the fog lifts, and it's just like, damn, where was I for all that time? So hopefully you guys like this video. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you are getting notifications of when I upload next. And if you have any questions or topics about show ideas or whatever, email me at asktheboss@gmail.com, and I'll be sure to get back to you. That's ASKTHEBAWSE@gmail.com. Peace.
Grind to my heart quits. Is she hungry for the money? Is she all